Okay, we're on day 3 again, and today we are doing hoover testing. One of the main complaints with most dogs and stuff is that they chase hoovers, sweeping brush, mops, things like that. So once again, we're just going to assume that Chuck is hoover angry. So I'm going to do a little test just to see how he responds. I rig the hoover up, then I can switch it on remotely or near Chuck, flick it on at a distance. He has no response to it whatsoever, so he gets some food. We bring the hoover a little bit closer, give it a bang about. As long as he stays focused on me, the food keeps coming. Again, I'm using the word good to tell him that what he's doing I appreciate, and the food is on its way as a reward. So we're going to switch the hoover back on at a closer range and watch his behaviour. Not a flinch. This boy is hard. Where food's concerned, Chuck really does not care what's going on around him. Or this is what I'm starting to learn. Food is Chuck's main priority. He knows I've got the food. He also knows that by watching and staying where he is and not backing away or anything else, the food keeps coming. This is not bothering him in the slightest, because it gives him something else to think about. He's focused. He's working to get the food. If your dog's focused and has a purpose, little things don't bother it. Just like us. It's the case of most phobias are born of... No one's born with a phobia. Phobias are made, and generally they're made by having either too little to think about, too much time on your hands, things like that. If you were, let's say, this is my opinion, if you had to concentrate on providing food every day, then the last thing you would be worried about going into an old dusty building would be spiders. Wouldn't even cross your mind. If you was going into that building because someone said go in there, do such and such a thing, and we'll pay you this, if that was your only means of making money or providing, the last thing on your mind would be spiders. It's a case of it's building a distraction or a focus. Chuck's learned over the last 3 days that all his food is about my person. It's in my pockets, it's in my hands, it's everywhere. Look at him using his nose. He's sniffing at me all the time. He's looking at me. What I've created in Chuck is his attention is on me, not the noise. Even when I'm moving things around, look at him. He has a quick look at the hoover, straight back to me. He's not interested that I've just stuck a hoover next to him that he's screaming its head off. He's not interested at the steel post that I'm waving around on the floor, because I've created a focus in Chuck in literally 3 days, which is, you have my food, I want it. I didn't create that by withholding Chuck's food, because I'm feeding him exactly what he was getting anywhere else. I'm feeding him the amount I was told he was eating on a daily basis by the rescue that I picked him up from. Watch him. He's not interested in that hoover. Now, that's not to say that if Chuck had already built up a phobia of hoovers, it would be this easy in 3 days. But I'm pretty sure that if Chuck already had a phobia of hoovers and you create the same drive, it would just take longer. It's not impossible, it just takes longer. Everything's about motivation. If you can give somebody or something enough motivation to carry out an act, it will do it, irrelevant of what's going on around it. I do a little demonstration in some of the workshops that I do with a device that is designed to create a false motivation. For those that come to the course, they'll find out about it. Now that I've mentioned it, it probably won't work quite as well, but there you go. Look at Chuck's face. He's continually looking up at me. Just by restricting his movements, he doesn't get out of that cage unless I say so. He doesn't eat unless I say so. But not in a nasty way. I've not raised my voice to Chuck, I've not had to discipline him for anything. Everything I do with him, I'm telling him he's good and I'm rewarding him. He's getting fed ample amounts of food. In fact, it's costing me a fortune in heart and stuff like that I'm feeding him. This is not to say a different dog on a different day wouldn't respond differently, but I can only work with Chuck at this moment in time.